Is it possible for the male member to explode from being too erect? I'm not talking about ejaculation. Today, we are answering some of your most embarrassing questions. Let's dive right in. We put in my own words, but doctor, is there any way to treat grade 1 gynecomastia naturally or not? And also, is it dangerous if it's not treated? Gynecomastia is basically unwanted development of breast tissue, typically seen in a male. The grades have to do with how much tissue and how taut the skin is. Most of the time, it's just a natural process of the body changing. If it's related to puberty, you'll outgrow it. If it's related to excess body fat, there's dietary changes, lifestyle changes, and exercises that you can do. If it's related to hormones, check your blood tests and see if there's something that is abnormal that needs to be addressed. Why is it that basically athletes still eat raw eggs even though there's a problem potentially with salmonella? Salmonella is a pathogen that causes a diarrheal gastrointestinal illness, basically nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramping, bloating. Sometimes we can use medication to help treat past it, but it is uncomfortable, you get dehydrated, not good. Egg whites are high in protein, yolks are good sources of fat and other nutrition. Eggs that you're getting at a store, they're clean, they're washed, and there's no likelihood of having salmonella on the outside, but there could be salmonella on the inside. Typically it's about like 1 in 20,000 that it could occur in. I don't recommend you drinking raw eggs, eating raw eggs, cook them. They're same nutritional benefit. What happens if you hold your farts a lot? Abdominal pain, bloating, uncomfortability. That actually is what definitely happens when you hold in farts. You need to get it out. If you hold it in, where do you think it goes? Maybe your body temporarily absorbs a little bit of it, but sometimes the gas might come out the other end. You might have really bad smelling burps because it actually might be a combination of a burp and fart. Not really a personal question, but I heard once that on an emergency, if the condom breaks, you can drop Coca-Cola or some other soda with high sugar levels into the female reproductive organ. This will cause the sperm to die of a sugar overdose. Is this correct? No. Whoa. If you're concerned, get checked out. And then if you're really concerned about the pregnancy, you can take a medication after you have this type of event to prevent implantation of an egg and sperm that might have been formed. This treatment has a very small window, so the sooner the better. If you've heard any other myths like this or remedies that just don't seem right, let me know in the comments and might be able to address them and debunk them. So it takes the testicles to produce semen. But if you still have your prostate and not your balls, can you still experience an orgasm? Your testicles produce sperm as well as testosterone. Your prostate helps produce the lubricant and the semen and the fluid that the sperm kind of hang out in. The first issue is if you don't have testicles, then you'd have a decreased testosterone production. Your erections won't be as strong. So if you're taking some sort of medication that allows you to have a good erection, you can have an orgasm. So if you still have your prostate, you're still making that fluid, so you will have an orgasm that has fluid. But if you are missing all of that, you can still have something called a dry orgasm, where you're not producing anything, but you're getting the same sensation. Hello, Dr. Wagner. My question is, in near future, we will have 3D printing organs with our own DNA, so it won't get rejected. But for the kids, it will be easy to print a heart and do the transplant. But what about the adults? A recently printed heart won't be strong enough to keep the blood pressure, and it might fail because of that. So how are people going to fix that? They can 3D print organs and use a specific type of like bioplastic polymer that they're using. But the issue ends up being is blood flow, getting the right connectivity. So we're thinking a heart, okay, so we can use mechanical hearts, that sort of thing. But we're thinking about other organs, right? The lungs, we're thinking about the liver, we're thinking about maybe the pancreas. They're trying to study this now and trying to figure out those nuances. As a man, do I stand to benefit in any way if I shave my chest, gut, and private parts? It's protective on a certain level, but the flip side is it does increase odor. Shaving certain areas can help reduce an odor. Some can reduce infection, but other areas could increase risk of infection because of potentially cutting yourself as you're shaving. Aesthetically, people do it, might make your muscles look bigger. Sometimes in different sports like swimming and cycling reduces like a little bit of drag due to the wind or the water current. Why does my female part smell after my menstrual period? So during your period, it'll potentially smell down there due to what's coming out. So you're having blood, unfertilized egg, as well as uterine lining. The pH of that area is a specific number to help grow protective bacteria and have a normal environment. Thus, when you're having different types of fluids there that are coming out, it can actually change the pH, thus changing the normal flora. Speaking of buttholes, mine appears to be a straight line rather than a starfish. My poop even comes out long and flat sometimes rather than round. Is this something I should be worried about? Buttholes kind of all look pretty similar. They're a hole and they're like circular, right? I haven't seen a straight line butthole, so I'm wondering if this individual may not have a good look at it per se. I guess it's kind of hard to look at your own butthole using a mirror or a phone. If you are having some abnormal stoolings, you definitely need to get checked out because you want to make sure there's no mass on the other side, or make sure that there's no abnormalities related to the tissue there. Sometimes an internal hemorrhoid can change the anatomy. Sometimes your natural anatomy is that way. Fact or cap? Good method to reduce bad breath is to hold a cucumber slice to the roof of your mouth for a few minutes. The cucumber has substances in it that kill these odor bacteria. It's mostly water, right? And then it does have a lot of nutrients in it, vitamins, it's got phytochemicals, increases salivation, which then can wash out the bacteria and maybe neutralize some. The direct answer, who really knows? But then the other question ends up being, where is the bad breath odor coming from? It's actually coming from rotting things in your mouth versus in your stomach. And how long does this bad breath trick actually work for? I have a question. Can I take the tears into the jar when crying, and when it's full, can I drink them? Would it be healthy? Healthy? I don't think so. The question ends up being, is it filled with like bacteria that's on our surface of our skin, around our eyes, that is protective, but then once it's sitting in a jar and then growing, because how fast can you actually get a lot of tears in one jar? Is it possible for the male member to explode from being too erect? I'm not talking about ejaculation. Good question, and no, it won't explode, okay? You can have significant engorgement of your penis because there's a lot of blood flow and you're very aroused, and can be very, very hard, but it's not going to explode. All right, these are actually very good, great, thought-provoking questions. And I know people have these questions even though they don't ask, but it's really good that people bring them up, allowing me to discuss and divulge into them. So if you guys like this video, do me a favor, check out this playlist right here. And as always, make sure you subscribe, turn those bell notifications on, and hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, my friends.